And I found peace in Islam, and I believe it is the right religion, and that's why I'm still Muslim.
Amazing. And why have you switched over to Christianity since Christianity is the best religion on this side of heaven?
You know, Christianity was sent down by the same God I believe in, but I believe that it was a timeline. Like God sent down first Judaism, and then when there was enough time, people started to step away from the religion. He sent down Jesus, peace be upon him. We see him as a prophet to bring people back to the message of God, and that was Christianity. And then again, when people kind of lost their way, he sent down the prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And I truly believe that all of us believe in the same God, and so I don't see you different. Like I will sit and learn from a Christian preacher, and I will listen to Jewish preachers speak. I'll listen to Muslim speakers, and I really do see a lot of similarities. But I just, in my heart, feel like, yeah, Islam is the right path. Actually, on that note, I actually have a question for you.
Yes.
If the Great White Hope accepted Islam, would you accept Islam?
No,
Why not?
because I'm a Christian.
What drew you to Christianity?
God,
And do you feel like, have you ever looked into Islam?
I have,
And
but
what is it about
but
Islam
just to
that,
understand it better, not to be a member of it or anything like that. And the thing that I don't uh, trust about Islam is that, and maybe they've changed it now, that you are taught to lie and deceive the Christians and the Jews, and that the Islam people see us as infidels, and their whole mission is to destroy the infidels. And so that's one thing I didn't agree with. But I'm
where did
okay if
you
they
hear
want to
that
do it.
part?
I'm sorry?
Where did you read about that part?
It was in the Quran, and I've talked to other Muslims that years ago that used to admit it, and they don't admit it anymore. So I don't know if they were told not to admit it.
Hmm.
And I know that the Muslims want to conquer the world.
Yeah. No one will shy away from that. We believe in like a
Why you
referral
want to conquer the
program.
world?
We want everyone to believe in God. I think there's a beauty in God. Yeah. And then to answer that question, why do
Yeah,
Muslims want to conquer the world?
right.
It's not so much conquer the world. It's like a referral program. When you like refer someone to Netflix or a Lyft or some random thing, you get like points.
All right.
It's kind of the same. Like God's like, help spread my message, you're gonna get points. And who of us doesn't, want these points, right?
But
So
God doesn't want to conquer everyone. If they don't want it, He'll leave you
yeah.
in your hell. He doesn't miss sleep just because you don't want to come to Him. He's not going to conquer you. He'll just leave you
Yeah.
alone and let you suffer and die.
I agree. Conquer, I guess, isn't the best word to describe it. It's
It,
more like spread peacefully. I feel like, because in Islam it says la ikraha fi din, which means you can't force anyone to do anything in the
right.
religion.
Yeah.
So you can't force anyone to get married, can't force anyone to accept the religion.
Are you sure about that?
You can't force anyone to do anything. And they say at the age of 10, you become kind of your own person. You're held accountable for your own thoughts and actions. It's why I preach this a lot in marriage, because a lot of cultural Muslims, they'll just marry whoever mom and dad say marry.
Right.
And they'll end up coming to me with problems, like, you know, I'm not in love with my wife. I'm in love with my ex-girlfriend, or, he's been cheating on me, or I don't even know, he doesn't like my body, whatever, really big problems. And the problem comes because it's like people are being forced because people misunderstand the religion. They take culture mixed with their egos, mixed with fear of what society will say, and they'll put it on other people. When the
Right.
religion says you can't force anyone to do anything.
That's how Christianity is as well. Um, but if you become a Muslim, and then one day you get tired of being a Muslim, you want out, they'll hunt you down like gang members and kill you.
Those people are extremists. Just to put that straight out. Those
Oh,
people, that's not what God says. So when Islam came down, it came down not just as a spiritual thing, it came down as a governing tool. It was used to govern a whole society. And so, like in the US, if you gave away trade secrets or you tried to bring the US down and you worked in like the government, you'd be considered, like what do they call it? Deflecting away from,
A
or defecting,
traitor.
sorry, a traitor.
Yeah.
And so then you would be held accountable. And so that rule came down because during that time, like I said, there was a lot of context. There was a lot of people who pretended to be Muslim, but they were trying to take the Muslims down. So I'll give you a little brief history for any of the viewers that don't know. When you look at Mecca today, if you ever visited, you'll see that it's this huge economic like hub. There's so much money in there. But at that time, they were so scared that he would come and remove their gods and they would be destitute. So they persecuted him, and him and his people went to another city. And so they started kind of their own religion. They wanted to be separate from everyone and do their own thing. But
Right.
there were hypocrites there, people who were trying to take them down. And so this ruling came out to put fear in the hypocrites' hearts so that they didn't act on it. And so this is a fact. During the time of the Prophet, there was no one that deflected from Islam that was killed. He himself never put this law into action. And, on a logical sense, like if I was looking at this outside, if I wasn't Muslim and I was kind of looking at this, it's almost like a deterrent, right? If you are governing a whole society, like if you were in a school and you said, don't smoke drugs in the school. If you smoke drugs, this is what's going to happen. These are the
Right.
consequences. Obviously you don't really want any of the kids to smoke drugs, but if one of them comes up and is like, I smoke drugs and we're all going to smoke drugs and all the kids do this, it's going to cause a problem. You're going to kind of lose control and have so that's more of what it is, if that kind of explains it.
It's hard to believe the Muslim because they've been taught at childbirth, that you can deceive the infidel, you can befriend them, you can do whatever you taste to deceive them in order to take them down. So like you sound so nice, you sound so friendly, maybe want to join up, right? Because they've been taught to deceive, it's hard to believe the Muslim, even when they're nice like you appear to be, it's hard to believe it because you guys been trained to deceive the infidel. Let me ask, do you love the Jews?
I love some of my Jewish friends. I don't know every Jew, so I can't say I love the Jews. I feel like that's just a blanket statement.
And so, but if you don't love all, you love none.
That's true. That's true.
So why don't you love all the Jews?
Why don't I love all the Jews?
Yeah.
Just because I don't know all of them.
But do you need to know them in order to love them?
I guess if I was being a good Muslim, I would love them the way God would love them.
So you're not a good
Because
Muslim?
a part of me, sorry?
So you're not a good Muslim?
I attempt to be, and I try to be.
But you're
and
not.
I guess to kind of say, to push back a little bit and just address the first thing that, we believe as children we're raised to deceive infidels. I was raised Muslim, and I honestly didn't even know there was other religions. So I didn't know about it until I kind of started coming out, even though I was in Canada. And I remember asking my dad, as I went to school and I met Christians and I met Jews, and I asked him, I was like, how do we know Islam's the right religion? And at the time, he told me we have the book, the Quran. And as a child, I didn't really understand what he was trying to say to me. As an adult now that I've learned Arabic and I understand the context, I could go back to the book, read it, and understand why my dad was so convinced because of the book. And then to answer your question, to love all Jews, love all Christians, I think we're all flawed as humans. I don't think any of us is perfect. Even God says he put us on this earth as flawed human beings, and that if we were perfect, he would remove us and he would replace us with flawed people. And the reason he put us here is because he wants us to build a relationship with him. He wants us to know that no matter how much we sin or make mistakes, like we can connect back to God. And so that kind of answers that question of, am I a good Muslim? At the end of the day, God will be able to tell me. I'll try my best, and I hope I am, but yeah.
But he put us here so we can be made perfect. That's why we're on earth, in order to be made perfect.
Do you think someone can be perfect?
Yes.
Really?
When you're born again of the Father, you can. The real you, see, we're not our thoughts, we're not our body, we're not our feeling. And so the real us, the real person, can be made perfect. As a matter of fact, you're already made perfect. You just don't know it because we have identified with all the wrong identities in our imagination: anger, fear, doubt, worry, insecurity, all those things, loneliness, suicidal thought. We think that those things are us, and it's not. And so
Yeah, those things are the devil.
we have to die from those things in order for the real person to come forth. But let me ask, so do you love the blacks?
Yes.
You love the blacks.
Yeah, I don't know all of them, but my husband is black and I love my husband.
You love
Well,
all the
again,
blacks.
I guess the best way to say is we love everyone.
Do
Yeah,
you love
I
all the
love everyone.
blacks?
Yeah. Yeah.
But you can't say you love all the Jews.
I'm going to actually retract and say, yeah, I love all the Jews.
Uh-huh.
Amazing.
Amazing. You love all the Christians?
I do. You know what? This conversation has made me grow. So, yes, I do.
Nice. And so
We
if you
love
live,
all humans, everyone.
yeah, if you lived in a Muslim country, could you be a comedian?
Yeah. I mean, it depends on the country, but it depends.
So,
I think, and because I've lived in the UAE for 15 years. So if I was in the UAE, no doubt I could be. Again, culture will come in where people are not familiar, like entertainment. They tell you be an engineer, be a doctor, be a scientist. I actually have my master's degree in engineering and in urban planning. And so I went down that route and I found myself drawn to communities and people and psychology and the minds. And so I made a career shift. And it really depends. It depends on how much I would want it. Yeah.
what's UAE? What does that mean?
Oh, the United Arab Emirates. So
Oh, so
Dubai, Abu Dhabi.
you could be a comedian there, but you can't in other parts of the Muslim world.
So I can't give a broad blanket because I haven't attempted it, but I do know
Don't
comedians from
try it.